Hello everyone, it is the Redmen TV, it is match day and the mighty Reds are going to be facing Chelsea. The team has been revealed and wow. We've seen a lot of kickoffs around team selections over the years. I expect this to be no different. So if you're of a nervous disposition, you may wish to look away. If you've got any thoughts, feelings, comments, insights, anything you want to discuss with us, then use the live comments. We're here all the way through to full time and in the hours beyond for post-match reaction as well. So look, we've got you covered. If you need someone to chat to throughout all of this, then I'm here and Chris Pajak is here as well. Without further ado, then I'm going to hand you over to my partner in purple in crime, which I'm sure will rile some people up because we don't like other sports and other teams on YouTube. Chris, what's the team?
The team is actually okay, I think. I can't imagine people are going to be too pissed off about the team because, let's be honest, it's not like the manager's even here to pick it right now, is it? No, but seriously, like, he's got his arms firmly tied behind his back in who he can select. So we've got Queven Kelleher starting net. We've got Kostas Tsimikas, Virgil van Dijk, Ibu Konate and Trent Alexander-Arnold round off the back five. We've got Fabinho, James Milner, Jordan Henderson in the middle of the park. And then up top we've got Mane, we've got Salah, we've got Jota. So front three's looking fine. Where would we sort of be looking at? Obviously the goalkeeper, rumours are that Alisson's got COVID.
Confirmed actually by Liverpool. Now. So Alisson Becker, Roberto Firmino and Joel Matip have been ruled out of Liverpool's clash with Chelsea today after returning suspected positive tests for COVID-19.
Okay. There you go then. So Queven Kelleher comes in for the goalkeeper, we understand that. Joel Matip and Ibu Konate then, that's nice and easy. And Roberto Firmino's not on the bench or in the side because of his suspected confirmed COVID test as well. Which leaves us a midfield three. I think this is where we're going with this, is the midfield, isn't it? There's the question marks, but really you've got to say, is it Naby Keita, is it Kurt Jones, Oxlade-Chamberlain or James Milner in the centre of the park? Now Naby and Ox, I don't think anyone was particularly impressed with them last time out. Kurt Jones is coming back off a long spell on the sidelines. So James Milner, I'm okay with that. And you know what, against Chelsea, you know, his experience, we seem to think that he's done as a footballer. He's not. Every time he starts a game, we forget and we go, oh, you know, James Milner, and it's like, yeah, but he puts a performance in and you go, oh yeah, he's sound. And then the next time he starts, everyone goes, oh, James Milner, though, he's getting on a bit, isn't he? And it's literally like we just have Milner amnesia every single time and forget that he still puts performances in. So I'm okay with James Milner in the middle of the park. Substitutes then, we've got Adrian, we've got Peter Luger, we've got Owen Beck. This is where we really struggle, to be honest with you. Owen Beck, Nico Williams and Joe Gomez. There's a bit of experience there. But only a bit. Then we've got Tyler Morton, Kurt Jones, Oxlade-Chamberlain and Naby Keita. So no recognised strikers on the bench. Obviously no Minamino, no Roberto Firmino, no Divock Origi. What we've got, we have out on the football field. And hopefully, Paul, they will have enough firepower to put Chelsea away today.
Yeah, Conor McMullen here with the super chat says we need forwards and we need them now. I mean, that's the interesting point, because obviously in terms of those COVID cases, there's a chat. I guess depending on testing time, we work this out. No, in fact, I don't think there's any chance that any of those ones who are currently missing will be back in time for the Arsenal game. But of course, Salah, Mane and Keita both leave for AFCON before then, which means that, you know, we've not got a ton of attacking options for the Arsenal game, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. So yeah, I agree, we need forwards and we need them now. Kate Gordon's tricky Reds against Arsenal, to say the very least.
The plans though, you'd think he'd be on the bench today because we've got two goalkeepers there.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, why is Milner starting over Keita, says Jaden01. The only thing I can logically look at that is that if you've got Milner, is it just that to give us something a bit more dynamic off the bench? Should we require it maybe? Because Keita, I don't know. Keita's been up and down this season. I'd rather see that, what was it, 20-minute cameo that we saw against Leicester in the Cup, than maybe one that gets a bit lost and needs to come off after an hour.
Yeah, I think for me, when we played the midfield last time out, it was Fabinho, Henderson and Ox, wasn't it? And when we lost against Leicester, and it wasn't quite the same midfield performance. That right-hand side didn't perform. And what I think we've been moving to over the last couple of months, you probably see where I'm going here, is more of a two-man midfield where the way Thiago drops deep next to Fabinho. Yeah. I think James Milner allows you to do that and get Henderson forwards. So hopefully we get more out of that right-hand side than we did against Leicester. And if that's the case, that midfield selection makes sense.
I think you're right. I think he wants to win the midfield battle by that midfield, and keep the game tight and be in control of that. It'd be interesting to see actually what Chelsea have gone for. I've got their team up here. Mendy, Chalobah, Thiago Silva, Rudiger, Azpilicueta. Is that a back?
Right wing back.
Oh, sorry.
Alonso,
left. Blimey. Wow, Azpilicueta is a right wing back. Well, that's good. Alonso left wing back. Then Kante, Kovacic in the midfield. Mount, Havertz and Pulisic up front. I mean, they're another team that they're claiming they've got loads and loads of players out, which of course they have, but I still look at that bench and say, well, they've got Jorginho, Saul, Barkley, Hudson-Odoi and Hakim Ziyech.
I think they'll be pleased to get Kante and Kovacic back in the side, won't they? That's what they're the two lads that they've missed so far this season. At times, you've got that steal in there. Kovacic, I think, is one of those really underrated players, actually. A bit like Wijnaldum. Like, no one really talks about him, but when he's in there, they win, and when he's not in there, they don't do as well. Yeah. Wijnaldum was for us, and obviously everyone knows Kante and what he brings to the table. It's interesting, isn't it? Because I look at that and go, well, if that's a back five, which it looks like with Azpilicueta on the right and Alonso on the left, I'd like to be getting in. I'd like to be getting at those two lads. Alonso always tends to do all right, though, going forwards, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And Azpilicueta is just quality. He's one of them, anyway. You think you're going to be able to get something out of him, but he always puts everything on the line. A bit like he's there, Milner, actually.
Yeah, he's Azpilicueta. Funny enough, I think it was, I don't know what show I did this week, and we were talking about Azpilicueta. I'm much more worried about Azpilicueta as a right-sided centre-half than I am as a right wing-back these days. And we've seen this already this season, and I forget maybe it was the City game when Reece James goes off and he goes to right wing-back, and that's them done. And given how important their wing-backs are, it wouldn't shock me if they were forced to spice things up, and maybe you see like a Hudson-Odoi come in at right wing-back later on in the game just to give them a little bit more dynamism on that side.
A solid foundation to begin the game.
I think both teams are kind of doing that, and because neither of them can afford to lose this, which means it's got draw written all over it as a result. But it's I mean, the Lukaku stuff, actually I haven't had a chance to talk to you about this at all. Presumably you've seen the bits and pieces that have been floating around this week.
Yeah, what's rubbish and what's not rubbish, I'm not 100% sure, because I've just sort of seen from WhatsApps and stuff, to be honest.
So what's true is that he got and done it a couple of weeks ago. He did an interview with Sky Italia, and then that's going to come out this week, and he talks about he's talked about the tactics and all that kind of stuff, and basically said he'd rather be in Inter Milan, which is quite funny. But we know Thomas Tuchel's basically dropped him for today. He's not even in the matchday squad as a result of all this. So I mean, there's something to be wary of because of, the siege mentality thing. But of course, Liverpool have got their own one going on. It's like both clubs are trying to harden themselves to get into this and be battle ready, and it's about which one has got the most quality on the day. And ultimately fingers crossed us, but I think there'll be a pubes width between the two teams today, to be perfectly honest. But yeah, I mean, let's talk a couple of the big talk. We talk about Milner, but Kevin Kelleher is obviously the big one in net. I've been very impressed with him the last couple of seasons, but he's still, he's 23 now. This is his biggest opportunity to shine for us.
Yeah, but of all the number two goalkeepers we've had over the years, and there are lads that I've thought, he's gonna do well. Like Danny Ward was probably the last one where I thought this lad's got something. He hasn't gone on to prove that in any way, shape or form. What I was trying to say is, I suppose Kevin Kelleher, I'm more interested to see what you think on this than I do, but I think he's got it. I think that he's got what you need to be a goalkeeper in the Premier League, and maybe even at the top end of the Premier League and beyond, international class or whatever. Every time he plays well, and he looks calm and comfortable, and that's probably the biggest thing I think with him, is that he understands how we play, understands our system, and he doesn't look rushed or out of place.
He's naturally a very cool customer, and I think you're right, is that I think you can be cool, calm to a fault, and I think people who try to be cool and calm end up are worse for it and give you loads of mad panic attacks. Mignolet was a bit like that. Adrian's definitely like that. He lingers on stuff, I think, to kind of prove he's good. I always think about like I won't name names because it's not fair, but a friend of ours, there's a bunch of brothers, and there was one of the brothers wasn't very good at football, but he saw how good his other brothers were, so he tried to dwell on the ball to make it look like he was better. And when you're not good at it, get rid of it, just move it on, that kind of stuff. And Liverpool have had that with the goalkeepers, and I mean it's a big test for them. But like that's the thing with Kelleher, big test. His only issue is he's not very imposing. He's a big lad, but he's not. You know what? That Alisson just looks like a man mountain, whereas Kelleher doesn't have that. He's 2 years away from filling out, so he is still a young goalie. Big test. I mean, the one note of encouragement, just looking back for his season so far, it's his 4th appearance for Liverpool, his last appearance in the league. Do you know what it was?
No.
It was the 5-0 win over Watford. Okay. So he's had a perfect record in the league so far. We'll have another one of them. Good track record in the wider London region so far this season. And of course he played in the Norwich game, and unfortunately, obviously in the unfortunately, we're not talking about he was the hero of the Leicester game in the League Cup as well. So yeah, another big test for him. And the Pep Linders thing, in the space of like a month, 5 weeks, it'll be 2 pretty big auditions for the 2 big candidates for Jurgen Klopp's replacement. We saw Gerrard on the touchline at Anfield. We're going to see Pep Linders on the touchline today. Sorry, Villa nearly equalised. I love Pep Linders. I hope, fingers crossed, this is one of those. We in 2 or 3 years' time, when he fully takes over, we look back on this as we got a real sense of what his man management style was like. Yeah,
absolutely. I think let's not beat around the bush here. He's the main coach.
Yeah.
He's the one who works with the players day in, day out. Jurgen gives them what he wants them to do, but he's the one that enacts those and makes sure that he go out there. He's the one who changed it from very, very much gegenpress to this new iteration. He's been a massively integral part of that. So there's nobody better. You might think, you know what, maybe Klopp's number 2 that's been there a long time, etc., etc. But the other assistant manager, no, because Linders is the one that changed this and took what Klopp had and made it a little bit better. So he's the perfect guy. Whether he'll be a manager, I don't know. Mm-hmm. Doesn't really matter when you're only like an interim game here, game there. What you do as a manager is you set everything at the football club, don't you? Buying and selling and how you contracts and everything. That's not what Linders is here for today. Linders is here to put Klopp's plan into action and make sure that they go out there and do everything to make it succeed.
It's quite a funny point actually with the Linders stuff, because Klopp has been very, from what I just word through the grapevine, he's been very I say strict, but he's told Linders to be very careful with how he lives his life this season because of the rise of COVID. And this goes back a couple of months. I heard this was that he was telling Linders just like kind of stay away from events and stay away from big crowds and all that, because, and the general gist is to what you're saying, he's so essential to how Liverpool are run as the football team is run. That they want to make sure he's fine. Because I was worried about this, like who are these other coaches, because they've not named them. Well, I guess we might get a glimpse in a minute when they're out on the touchline and who's in the warm-ups and stuff, like, because I've got no idea if it's Alisson. Is there a chance that it's Achterberg? It's not been clear. But if Klopp's gone down and there's other first team coaches gone down, we're quite lucky that Linders hasn't gone down with it as well, at least so far, touch wood and all that. Got some super chats in. Jordan, aside from Ali, Robbo and Keita, that is the side that slammed Man United 5-0 at Old Trafford. Siege mentality, let's go Reds. I'm here with that for that. Gareth Baird says team isn't too bad, come on you Reds. YNWA, speedy recovery to all the COVID cases. Match predictions, lads. I reckon 3-1 Liverpool. We'll do a match prediction in a second, actually.
Everton at 3-2 now.
Oh, fascinating stuff. We've got a couple more minutes before we wrap up. Get your comments in for one final time on this show. But we're doing the watch along, and one of our interns, James, has created a sensational trailer for it. So we thought we'd get you fired up for what's to come from me and Chris in about an hour's time.
Hey everyone, welcome. I'm your host Ross Channing. We're going to guide you through the whole of Liverpool versus Arsenal with our completely 100% biased commentary.
Sadio Mane with the
off. What the fuck's that? Do these people know the fucking rules of football, Errol? Because he's pissing me off. That is absolutely glorious.
The backspin on it though. Look at the backspin. Oh, what? It doesn't hit the floor. Oh.
Offside.
Oh. Oh.
The goal has been ruled off for offside.
Amazing.
Hey, there you go. Yeah, James has done a sensational job on that. That is just a kind of hint towards what you might have in store. If you join us for the watch along, it'll be live about 15 minutes before kick-off, which is not too far away, of course. Gareth Baird wanted a match prediction. He reckons 3-1 to Liverpool. What do you reckon?
Oh, 3-2 to Liverpool.
Okay, I reckon I'd take that just for a bit more exciting, but I've got a horrible feeling it's going to be like either a 1-0, a 1-0 or a 2-1 if we're going to win it. Probably 2-1, like really tight and grindy and horrible, but ultimately really satisfying as a result of it. So yeah, okay. As the old saying goes, just win, lads. Just genuinely do not care. Right, Trig Josh says, hi Redmen, Happy New Year. Which Liverpool players are out because of COVID? So Liverpool put a tweet up before just to keep you updated before we wrap up. Alisson Becker, Roberto Firmino and Joe Matip have been ruled out from the game because of suspected positive tests for COVID, in addition to obviously Jurgen Klopp, the gaffer as well, who is missing, and another couple, 2 or 3 members of the coaching staff as well. Thank you so much for that, Josh. And James Lim says, will Klopp be back for Arsenal? The answer is no. He will miss the Arsenal game as well, but he will be back for Shrewsbury, which I'm sure, given the swap, I don't think he'll even be back for that, to be perfectly honest, because he'll just be like, fuck, sack it. I'll take my 10-day isolation if that's all right.
It's 7 days now, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Okay. But he'll be like, I'll take 10, because who's asked it? It's Shrewsbury. I've missed that one before and I'll miss it again. You'll see if Neil Critchley can come back and moonlight for one more afternoon. Yeah, so thank you so much everyone who's joined us. Yeah, do come and check out for the watch along. It promises to be a good laugh indeed. Keep your heads up, keep smiling. If you need a laugh in the meantime, is Everton losing 3-2?
Yes.
Sad. Okay, yeah. Worst case scenario, the best they can hope for is a draw, surely, right? Anyway, whatever. Right, we'll see you all very, very soon. All the best. Ta-ra. Hope you enjoyed the video, and if you want more from us, consider joining Redmen Plus, our Liverpool streaming service, like Netflix for Liverpool fans. Fantastic documentaries, interviews, features, and learn more about the culture of the club, as well as bonus Redmen shows as well. And if you join as a club legend, you get your name there, theredmentv.com.